ladies and gentlemen, we all know what's coming up. Season 1 and Season 2 on Netflix is already on Netflix right now. But we got to wait 2021 to see who's going to come back from the I was going to say the Marvel Universe. Who's going to come back for the Karate Kid universe? Is it going to be Tony Silva? Is it going to be Mike Barnes? Is Chosen coming back? They hinted that in the trailer. But the guy's going to answer all those questions today. I'm not going to let up. I told him, I said, look, you're going to tell me if Mike Barnes is coming back, or I'm going to fly to California and I'm going to Mike Barnes your ass. And he said, okay, I'm going to tell you today, is Mike Barnes coming back for Season 3? This is the day. Stay tuned. Carolyn's Treasure Shop, CTS Interview Room. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Sean Kanan. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, brother. Thanks for having me back.
Let me ask you this. How many people have been hitting you up about Season 3?
Nobody. I haven't even heard that before. No. Yeah, a lot of people are really interested whether or not Mike Barnes is going to be coming back to Season 3. Yeah, there's a lot of interest, which is nice. I mean, it's really nice that this is a role that I did in 1989, and to have people still interested in talking about it and have it still be relevant is amazing. I mean, obviously, the reason that it's largely relevant is because of the tremendous success of Cobra Kai, and I'm just very flattered to kind of get included with all of that.
Well, I had a buddy of yours a while back. He you and him trained together. Grandmaster Darryl Vidal.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually threatened to kick his ass, and he didn't.
That would not be a good idea.
Here's the funny thing about that interview. I wanted to kind of relate. You know this. I'm at a trained interview person. It's not like I went to school for this. I just woke up one day and said, you want to be on YouTube? Sure, let's do a YouTube channel. And I started getting introduced to a lot of good people. And Darryl Vidal was somebody you introduced me to. And so we talking, I want to relate to him. And I had a little self-defense background. And I was telling my teachers, I wanted to make it very clear to him that I was not on his level. Like I'm not coming to you telling you these stories like I'm a black belt. More stories I try to tell him about my martial arts background, which is very limited. Mm-hmm. He kind of was like, I felt like it was like a preschooler talking to a doctor. It was like,
yeah,
he's like,
I feel like that a lot when I'm training with him, so you're not alone. I'll tell you something. If you want to see something really cool, Darryl's very modest, but if you want to see something cool, Google Darryl Vidal knockout. Now, when I Googled that, I initially thought, oh, this is going to be when Darryl's like 20 years old or something. No, this is from 3 years ago. It's Darryl fighting a black belt who's testing for, I think, his maybe second degree or something. And
right.
Darryl puts a learning on this guy.
Yeah, that's what I didn't want. I don't want him to come to Alabama and be like, so maybe you can show me some things. No, I want to let you know that I don't know nothing.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, I know nothing, Grandmaster. I'm just trying to relate. So this time you see him, let him know that, hey, I wasn't trying to, pretend like I'm a 9th degree black belt. I was just trying to relate, tell you some of my stories.
Right.
But he kind of looked at me like, whatever, dude. But it was a good interview. Check it out.
Love Darryl.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. Actually, after the interview, I Facebooked him. And I saw that he was on Facebook. I felt like we had enough rapport that, I sent a friend request. And like an idiot, I sent it to him. And then he sent one back. He said, yeah, you can go to this page. And I'll accept your friend request on here, not this one. And I was like, oh, I felt like an idiot. I was like, oh, I got to go to the fan page.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, if you see him, tell him I said hello. He said I was a very interesting person, but I guess that's a good thing. Anyway, so Sean, Studio City, how's it coming? We got another season coming up?
Yeah, that's the plan. Studio City has been tremendously successful in its first season. It's streaming on Amazon Prime for those people that don't know about it. We were nominated for 12 Indie Series Awards and 8 Emmys. Very exciting. Then the pandemic hits, which basically turned not only the entire world, but especially the world of television and film production upside down. But we're figuring out what the new rules are, and we are all committed to bringing a bigger and better season 2 to everybody. And the hope is that we will be back in production sometime in fall. And so, that's the plan.
So let me ask you this. Cobra Kai, you been watching it?
I've watched the first 2 seasons. Sure. I think it's tremendous. I love it. I think it's such a fun show and a fun spin. And it's really evident that the producers didn't just kind of resuscitate the Karate Kid concept as a way of making money. They really infused it with a whole new reality and a whole new take on it, and I think that's why people are so taken with it. It's really exciting to see an entire new generation of fans, learn who the people of the Cobra Kai universe are. It's a shame that Pat Morita isn't still with us to be a part of this, to kind of benefit from this newfound. Celebrity is not the right word. This newfound level of awareness for how great the heart of the Karate Kid films is. For me, it's kind of, it's sort of a bit of the same thing as Rocky. You watch the films, especially the first one, and you just get that feeling inside that's emotional, and it's hopeful and inspirational and all that sort of stuff. But I really believe that, at least for me, when I saw the first one, I think it helped me become a better person, or want to be a better person, want to train in martial arts and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's great that there's a whole new group of people that are getting exposed to it.
Well, the cool thing is that when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be like a regular spinoff, and they're not going to touch bases. Just like, I'm going to use one show like the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It kind of takes its own little universe, and I'm just using that as an example. I thought that I was afraid that they were going to kind of like, just spin off somewhere. But no, they stay true to the first movie. And now that they talk, here's the reason why you're on. They made it into like almost like the Marvel universe. I said that in the beginning during the introduction. They it's like everybody that's ever was in a Karate Kid movie has been talked about. Mike Barnes has been talked about in season 1. So was Tony Silver, Terry Silver. See, I messed up on the first. You did not correct me not one time. I kept saying Tony.
Show, man. I don't correct the host.
I had to
especially if they're going to be doing the editing.
No, see, if you saw the first interview, I know you do a lot of these, but if you saw the first one, every time I said Tony, I put Terry on the bottom. And then at the end of it, I was like, hell with it, it's Tony. But no, Terry Silver's been brought up. Mike Barnes has been brought up. It's been rumored, and we're going to get to this at the end. So if you want to know if Mike Barnes is going to be season 3, go ahead and fast forward this. He's going to tell us today.
No. Oh, is he?
He is. Sean Cannon's going to tell us today. But with that said, everybody's been brought up except for Hilary Swank's character. I don't think her character's been brought up. But I saw the trailer today, and they kind of hinted that Chosen. It kind of is not. You just assuming that was Chosen putting Daniel on the ground. You assume.
I have to assume if they go back to Okinawa that they're gonna probably integrate some story about Chosen and you know, Sato and all of that. So I don't know, you know, you never know with these guys.
I mean, Karate Kid 2 is my favorite. I mean, I told you last time, you know, Karate Kid 3, I just like Terry and I like Mike Barnes. Hey, it is what it is. Terry was he was a badass. I love some Terry Silver just because that's like
it's a really fun character.
Yeah, that fight scene with him and Mr. Miyagi. You know, sometimes in movies you get goosebumps, and you're like, oh, this because you know that the guy, Mr. Griffin. Am I correct?
Yeah, Thomas Ian Griffith. Yeah.
I won't say Mr. Griffin because I don't want him to come in. Because people that don't know this, Mr. Griffin is actually a real martial artist.
He is a terrific martial artist, absolutely.
Yeah, and you can tell that in the movie. I mean, the way he kicks and so for him and Mr. Miyagi, you know that I'm like, oh, this is gonna go down. I want to see this. Even as a kid, I saw that. I was like, you know what? It's gonna be a good fight.
Especially because, you know, Tommy is like 6'3". I mean, very thin, tall, and athletic, and of course, Mr. Miyagi is a little guy. And my one of my senseis, Sensei Fumio Demura, he did all of Pat Morita's stunt work. So that was actually Sensei Demura doing the fight against Tommy in the dojo. And of course, they used Pat Morita for the close shots and everything. But for me, I think that was the first time I got to see Sensei Demura doing any fight choreography when I first came on the set, when I first joined the show, and it was just amazing for me because he's a legendary martial artist.
But the only problem I had with the whole fight scene was with your character, Mr. Miyagi turns, and then all of a sudden you hit the wall and you turn the lights off. I'm sitting there like, now you're knocked out. I'm like,
yes.
I was like, that's the only part of the fight scene. I'm kind of like, really? Like, come on. Can't you just kick him in the head or something?
Let's review here for a second. So Mike Barnes gets knocked out by a wall, and he loses the final fight because he's baffled by a kata. So, I mean, Mike, not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
But he was a badass. Kata and a light switch. And that was his kryptonite. The light switch.
And he had great hair. I mean, you know, you got to give it to the guy. He had great hair.
Oh yeah. Mike Barnes, he's something else. But I want to go ahead and touch bases with you back on season 3. Let's go to the time machine. We touched bases with it on the first interview, and you told the story many times. You know, you got injured, and I know you hate talking about it, but I mean, fans like to hear it. So, you know, tell us again what happened. I know it's probably something that you don't want to talk about all the time, but you know, fans do like this story. So, can you tell us what happened?
Sure. You know, you never know what's coming around the corner for you in life, okay? And sometimes the things that we initially think are the most devastating, terrible news, with the passage of time, we learn that really they may be some of the most positive things in our life. And the reason I bring that up is because, you know, my experience on the Karate Kid 3 project was fraught with ups and downs. I mean, just traumatic highs and lows. You know, I got it from an open call. But before I got it, you know, I screen tested with Ralph. I thought I did really well. And I found out a couple days later that I didn't get the part. And it was a devastating low. I mean, it was a soul-crushing low. A couple days later, I find out that they fired the guy that they hired. And they brought me in. And
hang on. Can you tell us who it was?
I honestly don't know his name. I know his first name is Daryl something. I don't know. And so then I went, I mean, in the span of 4 days, I went from being thoroughly dejected and depressed to absolutely elated. Okay, so we're filming, and we break for Christmas, and I go to Las Vegas, and I've been having a lot of pain in my left thigh, so I was taking a lot of aspirin. Long story longer, Christmas Day, 1989, I passed out, lost consciousness in the Dunes casino. The paramedics and the security arrived, and they immediately got me into an ambulance and took me to Humana Sunrise Hospital. I had been bleeding to death because I had done a scene where you were talking about I get slammed into the wall. It was one of the things I did in that scene, where I had to stand stationary and jump on the ground again and again and again to match another shot where Mr. Miyagi throws me through the doors. So the cumulative effect of sort of landing on my side again and again was just like somebody was just punching me, and I ruptured something and I was bleeding internally. The aspirin, which is a blood thinner, exacerbated the bleeding, and it caused me to eventually lose consciousness. So they took me to the hospital. 1989, Christmas Day, they had to perform emergency surgery, and I came through the surgery, obviously, and I got a call from John Avildsen, and he basically said, look, you got like a week to get back to the set, or we're going to have to rehire. And again, I went from being absolutely elated to, the pits of despair, but I used it to motivate myself to, get out of the hospital bed, get myself discharged from the hospital against medical advice, and start rehabilitating myself. So they decided, okay, we'll use a stuntman to do all your close-ups, and you'll do all the close-ups, and we'll use a stuntman to do the fight scenes, which was really crushing for me because I had learned all the fight choreography. I had trained in, Japanese karate since I was 13, and I was happy to still be in the film, but I was really, really depressed. Anyway, I started working out with this guy from the LA Rams. I rehabilitated myself. I wound up doing all of my own stunts in the film, with the exception of one stunt where I'm in a car, and you see the bad guys after they fight Mr. Miyagi in the bonsai store. They go across these train tracks as a speeding train almost collides with them, and I said, "There's no way I'm doing that." So the point I was trying to tell you is I'm a big proponent of the concept of we shall see. And so you never know. It's like here I audition, I think I get the part, and I don't. What bad news? Well, we shall see. 4 days later, I get the part. What good news? We shall see. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks, well, not 2 weeks later, about 2 months later, I find out that I have to have emergency surgery and I may die. What bad news? We shall see. And on it goes and on it goes. So that's why doing Karate Kid 3 was such an amazing life lesson for me. I wouldn't change it for anything. I learned some valuable and hard and painful lessons, but I also learned a lot about myself. And that's why no matter what I do in my career, that film will always have a special place in my heart.
And, you made movie history. I mean, Karate Kid's history. I don't care what you say. There's some movies. It seems like all these movies came out in the 80s. There's I know Rocky came out in the 70s, but you have Rocky 3, and then you have Rocky 4.
Rocky 4.
That's my favorite. My wife hates it, but I will watch. When I need to work out and I'm not motivated, I put Rocky 4 in, and then I'm just like, oh, it's time to work out. Yeah. But then about 5 minutes goes by, I'll sit down and burp, and I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. But anyway, no, but all these movies came out and they became legendary. And Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 are legendary. And people love them. And there's argument, and I said this, my wife says that I can't believe you said this, but Karate Kid isn't my favorite, but my favorite characters are it's like Distinguished Gentleman. It's not my favorite movie, but Eddie Murphy in it was awesome. So I could sit there and watch it and just watch Eddie Murphy. Right. And Karate Kid 3, Terry Silver and Mike Mars are my 2 favorite characters. I may not like the whole movie, but those are my 2 favorite characters. This is not blowing smoke up your butt. This is the honest God truth. This is when I had the opportunity to interview. I wanted to interview the guy who played Mike Mars because he was my favorite character. Really, all the bad guys in the Karate Kid, Mike Mars and Terry Silver were my favorite. With that said, you made movie history. Rocky, people that were in Rocky, people that were in The Godfather, people in the Karate Kid universe, people in the Marvel universe, they made movie history. It is what it is. And you're part of that history. So it's something to be proud of.
And I am very proud of it. I mean, it's I'm a very, very small part of a much bigger machine. I'm a little cog in it, but it's really, it changed the trajectory of my life. I mean, it changed the trajectory of my career. It's a very interesting thing to literally be able to travel all over the world and you have people recognize you. And it's cool because it acts as an icebreaker. You know what I mean? People like to come up to me and engage me because they've seen the film. And it's almost like a superpower. You know what I mean? It's like the superpower to have strangers be able to forge, an initial connection with them because they know me from the film. And I got to experience that again, when I was doing The Bold and the Beautiful, because The Bold and the Beautiful was syndicated in, I think at one point it was syndicated in over 100 countries, and it's still in 47 countries. And so, I was largely known throughout the world for that character, and it's surreal, it's weird, but it's nice.
Yeah, one of the things that you also known for is soap operas, and that's where all the women in my family know you from. Is they know you more from soap operas. They're like, especially the ABC version of the soap operas that you were on. Everybody was talking about, oh, you had AJ. When they saw the first interview, they were like, you interviewed AJ? How'd you get? Did you interview? How did you do that? I'm like, hey, look, me shot, and then breaking the third wall here. I have Sean's number, but when I do it, I put, I see Sean Cannon, but I cover the number up, and they're trying to take my phone from me. And I'm like, no, please.
So if I start getting all sorts of weird, creepy calls in the middle of the night, I'm going to know it's your fault.
Yes. You're going to have to block me. It's probably going to be me. Hey, Sean. You're going to have to block your number, kid. Sorry, man.
Hey, but heavy breathing. Come on.
I'm going to blame my Aunt Kathy, but no, it was me. So yeah, you're known for a lot of things, and but season 1, season 2. All right, that's why all the people are going to be watching this interview. So season 1, we saw the return of John Kreese. So season 2 left us with a cliffhanger. Miguel fell, may die. We don't know. Johnny lost his dojo to John Kreese. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. Is Samantha gonna be at Miguel's best side? Is Eli gonna stop being an asshole? We don't know.
Right.
So the question is, what do you think is gonna happen in season 3? Well, we're gonna get to the part where if you're gonna be in it or not. We're gonna get at that. Fans, we're gonna get at that. We're gonna know today. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, with the stuff that you don't know about, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, first of all, I think one of the most exciting things about season 3 is the new platform that the show is moving to. Moving to Netflix is, it's a masterstroke for the show because, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the show is starting to be translated into different languages. So this is going to become like a worldwide phenomenon, which is very exciting. What do I think is going to happen in season 3? Well, I guess we all know, I think, that they're going to be going to Okinawa. So I think that's what they hint in the trailer. We also know that Johnny missed a Facebook message from Allie, and so it would be
forgot about that.
If Allie comes back from the Karate Kid, and does she see Johnny in a whole new light? Does Daniel does her showing up in any way maybe threaten the security of his marriage. I don't know. Who knows, right?
Well, if you remember, in season 2, she left Daniel for some guy from UCLA. And then, he fell in love with a dancer in Okinawa. And then he comes back from Okinawa, falls for a little girl, and he turned out to be in the friend zone. I mean, so it's not like he to me, it seems like he got over Allie real quick. It's like, because you think about it, 1, 2, and 3 only happened in the span of the year. I know for us, it was like 5 years, but no, it was literally 1 year for Daniel LaRusso. So in that 1 year after Allie, he moved on to 2 other girls. So I think he should be over.
That would seem realistic, but I mean, I can't imagine Elizabeth Shue coming back to the show without being front and center for a lot of conflict. And one of the things that you learn this from soap operas. One of the things that provides the most conflict and storyline is a love triangle. So who knows, right? I mean, obviously this isn't a soap opera, but it's an effective device. I have no idea if she's coming back or what her storyline would be. I'm simply speculating.
No, Sean, you learned that from soap operas. I don't watch soap operas. The only characters I knew was on ABC, and I was forced to watch them. Because you know why? My grandmother had to watch her stories.
Gotta watch the stories, man.
Gotta watch the stories.
I love that's what in the South, that's what they call it. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And my grandmother, they still had soap operas back in the day. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I know all my children went off the air, and that was like pretty much it. But yeah, down here in the South, they stories. I got, baby, you need to sit your ass down. She didn't cuss.
Full house, quiet.
Yeah, everybody had to be quiet from 12:30 to 4 o'clock. And then Oprah came on, and then she'll watch Oprah. But my Aunt Kathy was like that too. Aunt Kathy. Down here we say Aunt. Anyway, they all were big fans. How do you get over somebody that like Elizabeth Shue? Like for me, if I dated Elizabeth Shue, I don't see myself getting over her.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one, wouldn't it?
I don't know how well you know the lady, but she aged pretty good.
Well, I've seen her on The Boys. You know that show, The Boys, about the superheroes?
No.
Oh, it's a big show, and she's on it. She looks terrific.
Yeah, I mean, I know she's doing some show on Amazon Prime, but is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
She looks great.
Oh, yeah.
She's like fine wine.
Yes. And then you see somebody like Ashley Judd, and I'm like, no. Hey, I know you can't say anything. I can say it. Because I was watching the movie Double Jeopardy.
That's a good movie. I like that.
Yeah, me and my wife, and I know she looked good back in the day, so I looked her up on Google 2020. The only thing I'm going to say, and I told my wife, because she wants it too, ladies, stay off Botox. It doesn't make you look good.
Right. You got to be careful with that.
You got to be careful. Let Nate, look at Jamie Lee Curtis. Don't have a lick of. She was beautiful back in the day. She was gorgeous. And you know what? As an older lady, she's still gorgeous. No work. Ashley Judd. But that's it. Moving on. What if you had a theory? What was going to be the whole series? What would your theory be?
If I had a theory as to what the arc of the entire series is going to be, I honestly don't know. I think that the take that the producers and writers have injected into the show is so fresh and new that I honestly wouldn't want to second guess them. I don't know. I mean, I think the one thing for any show, or any show that is a spin-off of other source material, is you want to see the characters grow. You want to see the evolution of the characters and how they've changed from the original, and what have they learned from their mistakes, and what have they overcome. And so I think as long as the characters are continuing to grow and pass that knowledge on to the younger generation of characters in the show, that it's compelling entertainment.
When you do a scene on a TV show, or you do a character, let's say hypothetically speaking, allegedly, Mike Barnes is back on Cobra in the Karate Kid universe. Mike Barnes is in the show.
Yep.
Does Sean Kanan know the rest of the story, or will he already know what his character is going to be doing?
That's a really good question. So if I understand correctly, your question is, when you're doing a TV show and you have an extended role on a show, do you know where the destination of where your character is going? Is that it?
Or the show itself?
No, you generally don't. No, I mean, especially for instance, no, you don't, because you're getting new scripts all the time. No, the answer is no. That's one of the things that's interesting about a film, is because you get to read the end of the film. You know what your character's arc and the arc of the film is. And so that's got pluses and minuses. One of the nice things about not knowing is you're not informing your acting with knowledge of what the final destination is. You know what I'm saying? But when you're doing a film and the final destination, you got to be careful that you're not playing stuff as if your character knows where he's going to wind up, because we in life don't know where we're going to wind up. We live, for the most part, moment to moment to moment emotionally. And so I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I was thinking about it is my wife is standing over me, and she knows it's you. Hey. I'm telling her no. No, she can't hear you. I got an earpiece. No, I'm telling her no. Go. Bye. I love you too. Bye. Sean, you see what you do to females?
Hey, don't rope me into that, brother.
No, the reason I asked you that, you remember I asked you about that latest movie, Beyond the Law, I believe it was, with the Steven Seagal and DMX. I was like, hey, what are they? Because I couldn't finish the movie because you have a filthy mouth. And my 9-year-old was coming downstairs, and I had to watch it later. So like a couple of weeks, about a week later, I finished watching the movie. And you're right, you was nowhere near DMX and Steven Seagal. And I remember you saying, like, I wasn't part of that story. Right. So, like, the same thing with Cobra Kai. So many stories going on in that one show that if you was a part of that show, you wouldn't know. So you showed us your theory. Now it's time. Okay. Now listen, I threatened to whoop your ass. I threatened to come to California. We have to know. Is Terry Silver going to be back in Cobra Kai?
I can't say. I can't divulge any plot points about anything that's coming.
Okay, you're right. I didn't threaten you on that part, okay? Right. I didn't threaten you. All right. Mike Barnes. Now, they kind of hinted in season 1. We all assumed that the guy Johnny was on the phone with was Mike Barnes. They brought Mike Barnes.
His name is Mike?
Yes, we all assumed. Like, come on, Mike. Like, before I get to that, I wanted you to answer this. Who will win in a fight, Chosen, Johnny, or Mike Barnes?
Oh boy, I can't begin to extrapolate on that one. I don't know. Maybe at some point we'll have the chance to actually see.
Maybe, but see, the thing about that is,
right?
I didn't understand. Daniel LaRusso came back from Okinawa from a death match. He was literally in a death match.
Yeah, so maybe Daniel got the upper hand. I mean, Johnny and Mike have really done street fighting and tournament fighting, but I mean, Daniel was in a death match.
Yeah, but that's my point. Daniel was in a death match.
Maybe Daniel is arguably the hero of the universe. So heroes like you got to give them a couple extra points right off the bat because they're the heroes.
Well, my point I was trying to make, like, he was in a death match, and then he comes back, and then he's scared of Mike Barnes. Like, that was one of the biggest things I got kind of like confused with season Karate Kid 3.
Mike Barnes is a bad man, my friend.
I understand that, and in real life he's a bad man too. That's why I'm taking it upon myself to threaten him, because nobody else has the courage. But my point is that Daniel Russo, he comes back from Okinawa, was in a death match. Then he comes back to the States, and now he's scared. He's scared of, like, this guy. Like, I don't understand. Like, you was in a death match.
Right. Well,
but not scared of this guy. But, hey, it is what it is. We're running out of time. We have to know, Sean, if you don't want that ass whoop,
okay,
you got to tell us.
Well,
Is Mike Barnes coming back to season 3 of Cobra Kai? The fans want to know. I promise the fans, you're going to tell us right here and now. Is Mike Barnes coming back? Yes or no?
You know, Joseph, I have dodged this question and been diplomatic, and and I think you're right. Maybe it is time that I actually just come clean.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I will leave you, and I will leave your audience with this answer as to whether or not Mike Barnes is coming back to Cobra Kai. You ready for the answer?
Let the truth out, man. But it's gonna help your soul. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Here it is.
Sean, you know what? It's truly an honor talking to you. I like to say you're a friend to the show. When I needed you, I called you up. You said yes.
Sure.
I mean, just you being on this little small YouTube platform I humbly mean this. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you. We had a little fun today. Thank you for being a good sport. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Sean Kanan, you got anything you want to plug with us?
You know what? If you haven't had a chance to check it out, please check out Studio City, streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime. And Joseph, I'm going to leave you with one more thing before I say goodbye. Your karate is a joke.
That's what Darryl Vidal said.
Darryl said
No, he just said I was a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe. Sean, stay on the line. I got one more question. Everybody else, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Sean Kanan.
Kelsey! Kelsey, you could have got hurt. Why would you do this?
I went to Angel's Thrift Store where Kaylin's Treasures keeps all their inventory and bought you your favorite ring.
Girl, you must have lost your damn mind.
If you don't like it, why not just kick your butt?
Kelsey, I'm sorry.